The woods were quiet in a way that felt wrong, like nature itself was holding its breath. Tall pine trees stood packed tightly together, their shadows stretching long across the forest floor as the late afternoon light struggled to reach the ground. Leaves crunched under hurried footsteps, and a terrified girl stumbled forward, her wrists burning from the plastic zip ties cutting into her skin. Her name was Emily Carter, 17 years old, small-framed, pale, with dirt already smeared across her cheeks from where she had fallen earlier. Her chest heaved with shallow breaths, panic rising so fast she could barely think. Behind her, laughter echoed, low, cruel, and careless. "Come on, Emily, don't slow us down now," one of them mocked. "We're almost there." There were 4 of them, 4 bullies who had made her life a living nightmare for nearly a year. It had started with whispers in school hallways, then notes in her locker, then public humiliation in class. Teachers looked away. Students laughed or stayed silent. Today was supposed to be another scare, another threat to keep her quiet forever. But this time, they had driven her deep into the woods, far from town, far from help, and now she could see the shovel leaning against a tree ahead. That's when the truth finally crushed her chest. This wasn't a prank. Emily shook her head violently, tears blurring her vision. "Please, I won't tell anyone, I swear, I'll do anything." Her voice cracked, breaking into sobs she couldn't control. Her knees buckled, and she fell to the ground, scraping her palms against rocks and roots. The bullies stopped walking. One of them, taller than the rest, stepped forward and kicked dirt toward her face. "Too late for begging," he said coldly. "You should have kept your mouth shut." They had accused her of things she never did, spread lies that ruined her reputation, and when she finally tried to speak up, when she threatened to go to the principal, they decided to make sure she never spoke again. Another bully picked up the shovel and tossed it to the tallest one. The sound of metal hitting the ground echoed like a gunshot in Emily's ears. She screamed then, a raw, desperate sound that tore out of her throat. "Someone help me, please!" But the woods swallowed her voice whole. No houses, no roads, just trees, dirt, and the shallow pit they had already started digging earlier that day. She was dragged forward, her shoes scraping against the ground, her body trembling so hard it felt like she might pass out. They shoved her toward the pit. It wasn't deep yet, but deep enough. Deep enough that once she was inside, climbing out would be impossible with her hands tied. Emily looked down at the hole, then back up at them, searching their faces for even a trace of hesitation. There was none, only excitement, power, cruelty. As they forced her to kneel, something else was happening deeper in the forest, something none of them noticed. A man lay still behind thick brush nearly 50 yards away, his body perfectly camouflaged against the earth. Jake Walker, former Navy SEAL, had been tracking deer trails with his K9 partner, Rex, a massive Belgian Malinois trained for combat, search, and silent takedown. Jake wasn't hunting animals that day. He was teaching Rex focus drills, watching, listening, reading the forest the way only years of war had taught him. Rex's ears suddenly perked up. A low growl vibrated in his chest. Jake felt it instantly. He raised his fist, signaling stillness. His sharp eyes narrowed as distant voices carried through the trees. Laughter that didn't belong in a place like this. Then he heard it. A scream, not loud, not long, but desperate enough to freeze his blood. Jake slowly lifted his binoculars, scanning through the trees. What he saw made his jaw tighten. 4 teenagers, 1 girl on her knees, a shovel, a hole. He didn't need more details. He had seen evil like this before, in war zones, in places where innocence didn't survive. Without intervention. His hand moved instinctively to Rex's collar. The dog was already trembling with readiness, muscles coiled, eyes locked forward. "Easy," Jake whispered, voice calm but deadly. "We watch first." Back at the pit, Emily was pushed forward, her knees sinking into loose dirt. One of the bullies grabbed her hair and yanked her head back. Any last words? He sneered. Emily closed her eyes. Images of her mother flashed through her mind. Her little brother, her bedroom, her unfinished homework, her whole life collapsing into this single moment. Tears streamed freely now, soaking into the soil beneath her. I just wanted it to stop, she whispered. I just wanted to be left alone. The shovel pierced the ground beside her, the first load of dirt thrown toward the pit. Some of it landed on her legs. She screamed again, twisting, trying to crawl away, but the zip ties held fast. Dirt followed dirt. Each sound felt like a countdown. Her breaths became frantic, her heart slamming so hard it hurt. That's when Rex growled again, this time louder. Jake's decision was instant. No hesitation, no doubt. He adjusted his position, pulling a small camera from his vest, activating it. Evidence. Always evidence. Then he whispered the command Rex had been trained for since he was a pup. One word, soft, lethal, go. Rex exploded from the brush like a missile. The bullies didn't hear him until it was too late. A deep, feral snarl cut through the air, followed by screams, not Emily's this time. The tallest bully turned just as Rex slammed into him, knocking him flat, teeth clamping onto his arm with terrifying precision. The shovel flew from his hand. Chaos erupted. One bully tripped backward, another froze in pure shock, and the fourth tried to run, straight into Jake.